This is a group that really cares. They care about being in this league. They care about each other and their successes, and they really care about winning. The intensity in the dugout, I was not expecting that.
Welcome to episode 379 of Alberta Dugout Stories podcast. I'm Joe McFarland. Happy opening weekend, everybody. Now, if only the snow would melt in our neck of the woods so it actually felt a little more like spring. We have a pair of guests from the CCBC coming up, as well as a little monologue from myself a little later on. But first, as always, the news headlines. And we'll start in Major League Baseball, where all 30 teams are opening up their schedules, and we don't have a weekend without baseball until November. A total of 20 Canadians have been named to opening day rosters, including Calgary's Michael Soroka in Arizona, Edmonton's Eric Sabrowski with Cleveland, Edmonton's Rob Sastrisny with Milwaukee, and Dogs Academy alum Tristan Peters is staying with the big club, the Chicago White Sox. Elsewhere, former Metasnap Maverick Jacob Webb is on the roster with the Chicago Cubs, and former Edmonton prospect and Okotoks Dogs utility man Cody Funderburk is sticking in Minnesota. The minor league assignments are still being hammered out right now, and we should know more sometime next week. Among the ones we do know right now, Matt Lloyd joins AAA Worcester, Adam Macko is at AAA Buffalo, Garrett Hawkins is also at AAA with El Paso, Calgary's Cohen Aiken heads to High A with Frederick Keys, and Thomas Ireland goes to High A with the Hub City Spartanburgers, aka one of my new favorite team names. We'll update you on some of the other familiar names in Alberta and Saskatchewan coming up on next week's show. And of course, we'll provide you with all their updates throughout the course of the season. Former Sylvan Lake Gulls star and WCBL Pitcher of the Year Josh Tucker is going pro. The left-hander who set the league record for career strikeouts last season is joining the Boise Hawks of the Pioneer League. On the college baseball front, our usual top 5 highlights on another busy week, and big congratulations right off the bat to Red Deer's Carter Clarehout as he's been named Frontier Conference Player of the Week again. The Bellevue University slugger and Prairie Baseball Academy alum hit 500 with a double, triple, 5 RBI, 4 runs scored, and 4 stolen bases in just 4 games. It's the second time he's been recognized by the conference. Recent podcast guest and Weber Academy alum Lucas Laukkanen has been named the Kansas Jayhawk Community College Conference West Division Player of the Week. He hit 500 with 3 homers and 15 RBI in just 4 games. Vauxhall Academy grad Steven Andrachik continues to swing a hot bat at Midland Community College. He's still sporting a .469 batting average through 28 games to go along with 9 home runs and 42 RBI. His teammate and fellow Vauxhall product Brendan McTavish isn't too far behind either. He's got a .360 average with 6 homers and 28 RBI in 22 games. And yet another standout performance on the hill for Nipawin's Kyle Fralick at Texas State. Up against Louisiana last Friday, he went 7 innings of 3-hit baseball, allowing 1 run and 1 walk while striking out 10. Fralick is 2-1 after 6 starts, striking out 34 and posting a 4.08 ERA. When it comes to commitments this week, big congratulations to recent podcast guest Tetsu Nishida as the Calgary native and PBA shortstop is heading to Columbia International University next fall. Weber Academy product Jack Cerrone has signed on with the UBC Thunderbirds. AHP hurler Sidney Fillenberg goes to the University of Pikeville, while teammate Easton Grunding has committed to Iowa Western. Some big news for the Okotoks Dogs and Baseball Canada as they get ready to host the inaugural Road to Okotoks this summer. The town of Okotoks has approved up to $100,000 in funding over the next 2 years to host the event. That tournament is set to go July 14th to 19th this summer. And we'll wrap things up in the CCBC, where opening weekend is in the rearview mirror. Prairie Baseball Academy went into UBC and took 3 of 4, while Edmonton Collegiate split their 4-game set with UFV, and the University of Calgary Dinos won 1 of 4 against Okanagan College. This weekend, PBA visits VIU, the Hawks travel to Victoria, and the Dinos are at TRU. Our first guest this week is PBA hurler Sean Bavis. The Rocky Mountain hurler, who has called Banff and Canmore home, made his debut over the weekend for the Dogs and did it in style, tossing 7 innings of 7-hit, 1-run baseball, allowing just 1 run while striking out 7 in a 4-2 win over the expansion team from UBC. The Calgary Cubs alum is among the arms head coach Todd Hubka believes will be a difference maker as the team looks to claim its first CCBC title since 2017. Sean, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for having me.
CCBC opening weekend's behind us now. PBA goes 3-1. How happy are you guys with your performance in week one?
I think we're happy to win the series, but I think as a whole we could definitely have played a little better. But winning the series is big, especially the start we had down in the States. It's good to get that momentum going.
Anything you guys learned about yourselves through that weekend, or things that you want to specifically work on as you move forward here?
Um, I think still, especially for the pitching side, I think we attacked the zone really well. So kind of just keeping that, especially going into VIU this weekend. And then it's just trusting our guys to get it done on the hitting side.
It,
They're great hitters.
it's interesting because Hubs is a guy that doesn't necessarily toot his own horn. And last year he said, you know what, pitching might be there, might not be. This year he seems to be pretty confident with you guys. How much of a morale booster is it when not only is he talking you up, but you guys as a group had a pretty good weekend to start things off?
It's nice, especially since he's trusting us so much. It's an honor, I guess, if I
Mm-hmm.
have to put it that way. Especially going in from facing Salt Lake City, who were really good, and then just getting it done and him still trusting us as a whole staff is just great.
Mm-hmm. I'm always curious, especially when you have a team that you're going up against, like you did with UBC. You don't necessarily have a scouting report. Like nobody's seen these guys before. So as a pitcher, how do you attack that when you don't necessarily know what you're kind of up against?
Honestly, it's just throwing strikes, especially first pitch strike and in those challenge counts like 1-1, 2-2, like really trying to win those. That's what's really going to get it done. Um, for me, I started the fourth game, so I had a little like an eye scouting report,
Yeah.
but it just attack, and then if you get up 0-1, you're in control as a pitcher.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about that personal level for a second here. Quite the debut to get the victory. How happy were you when you look back on that performance?
I was actually really happy. It was going back. It was the first time I've gone 7 innings in since like my first year 18U, and just being able to go out there and give a quality start and get the win for the team to win the series, it just made me really happy. And yeah.
What was it about that performance that you feel was working for you? Was it a specific pitch? Was it a specific approach? What did you feel was going really well for you?
That fastball slider combo that I had was working really well. I got up on hitters and then they would chase sliders or weak contact on the fastball, and just limiting that hard contact really worked.
Mm-hmm. So how do you build on that? I mean, you've made your first start in the CC. Now you get to build on it. What are you working on here, and what are you kind of putting your mindset towards as you head towards VIU?
Honestly, just kind of keep it similar, really attack, really try to get up on these hitters, limit walks, and keep the contact to just weak contact.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, we're early on in the season here. What do you think is going to be key moving forward for you guys to maybe make a run at things towards the CCBC championship here?
It's just playing as a team, trusting each other, and I'm sure the bats are going to get rolling a lot more, especially coming into these next weekend. And I have trust in the guys to do that, hit the ball hard, and it's just playing as a team, trying to win as a whole unit instead of being just me, me, me.
For sure. Finally, on the season as it is right now, when you look ahead, what would it mean to you to help bring a CCBC championship back to PBA?
And it would mean everything. Winning as a squad, as a family, that would mean a lot, especially with these guys. They're all great guys. It's just, and winning would be obviously super great.
Absolutely. Let's get into your baseball past here a little bit, Sean. You're originally from Calgary / Canmore, lived a little bit in Banff as well. How does the guy from the mountains get into baseball in the first place?
Well, back in the day, there was a Canmore Little League, and we play against Cochrane. And then I got asked to play on a Cochrane team, and it kind of just snowballed from there. I played in Cochrane for a couple of years, mainly my 15U years, so 14, 15.
Mhm.
And then I ended up finding a home in the Calgary Cubs after my second year, 15U was done. And they had just a great community. And yeah.
Mhm. When you're growing up, were there any other sports you were playing, or was it all baseball all the time?
Uh, ton. I mean, hockey at an early age, but it was mainly through high school. It was volleyball and basketball.
Was there a moment in time that you can remember where it kind of switched for you, where you went, "This is a fun game," to, "Hey, maybe I want to chase this baseball dream a little bit."
Honestly, I think I've wanted to play baseball since I was maybe 7 years old. I've always really loved the sport, especially like my being able to get the opportunity to go out and watch the Blue Jays in person. And it just made me love the sport. And I've always wanted to play baseball ever since I was a little kid.
So you're a Blue Jays guy. Who's your guy
Yep.
though? Who's the dude who you're like, "I want to be like that one day"?
Um, Pitching side, honestly, Kevin Gosman right now for the Blue Jays. The fastball splitter combo is
Mhm.
really good. Um, all time, I Justin Verlander. Just he's a dog.
And man, that guy never gets old. It's insanity to
Yes.
me. I don't understand it. My arm's falling off. I'm 43 right now, and I don't pitch, so it's a great combo. When you look
Yeah.
back on your young career to this point, do you have any favorite memories or moments that really stand out to you, where you had to take that step back and go, "All right, this is kind of cool"?
Um, Honestly, it was just this past summer. We were um we were playing in semifinals for provincials, and I pitched that game, and it gave us a great chance to win. And then I got taken out and ended up going to left field, and I got a chance to throw the guy out at four, and I did that, and it sent our team to the finals for provs. And just looking at that and just seeing everyone happy, excited that we have a chance to go win this thing, just made me love the sport even more.
That was a wild final too, wasn't it? Because you guys played St. Albert, and like that was a back and forth extra innings marathon,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
it was. Yeah, I went 8 innings, I believe. It was pitching duel almost the whole way through.
Unreal run indeed. On the flip side of that, we know baseball is a game of failure. What's that one thing that you've been able to overcome, or that one obstacle that you've had to jump over that you're really proud of that you were able to do?
Honestly, I think it's a confidence thing, especially starting out, going to Cubs and being new and kind of feeling like an outsider, just being confident and playing good, and it just got over the fear of failure and just really snowballed into just keep playing with confidence and don't waver.
Mm-hmm. A few fun ones before we let you go here, Sean. First off, if you were that reliever who gets that epic walk-in song, bottom of the ninth, and you're the guy, what's that tune you want to walk into?
Cool. Yeah, Enter Sandman's good. Uh, Mariano Rivera's walkout.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I might put that, maybe Hell's Bells by AC/DC, something just fire everyone up.
A little bit of rock and roll. I'm not going to say no to that. Fantastic stuff. What's your favorite food at the ballpark when you're there as a fan?
Ooh, slice of pizza.
Ooh, I don't know if I've heard that one on the show. That's it. Like everybody
Yeah.
goes hot dog, but slice of pizza.
Ooh,
So if you've got your
yeah.
choice of za, which kind are you having?
Pepperoni. Keep it simple.
Keep her simple. I like. Are you a mushroom guy or no?
No, don't
Okay.
like mushrooms.
It's funny how controversial that the mushroom can be. Like I've got family members who are anti that, and I'm all for it. So no grudges held whatsoever. And finally,
Yeah.
any superstitions or things that you got to do either before, during, or after a game?
Um, Going out to the mound, I always have this thing where I'll walk out to the line and then like jog to the mound, and I have to pick up the ball in this a certain way. And then it's just like some of the basic ones where it's like never step on the line, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Couple more for you before we let you go. First off, for those young kids who might be listening in, they're just starting out on their baseball journey and they want to get to where you're at now. What's that one piece of advice or those words of wisdom that you want to impart upon them?
Put in the work, and trust yourself. That's the big thing. If you don't trust yourself, you're not gonna make it.
Absolutely. And finally, what does the game of baseball mean to you?
Means everything. It's my life at this point, and I'm gonna ride it until I can't anymore.
We look forward to that ride, Sean. Again, congratulations on the first star. Congrats on all the success to this point. Continued success this season and beyond with PBA. And again, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's great to talk to you.
We'll stay in that PBA UBC battle for our second guest of the week and check in with Devery Van De Keere. The Barhead native was a guest back on episode 71 of the show, which was way back in early 2020. A lot has changed since then, including both of us becoming dads and him taking the reins of the new University Baseball Club out of UBC. We caught up after that weekend set against PBA to chat about bringing that program to life and what he expects out of his club going forward. Devery, welcome back to the program. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks a lot for having me again here, Joe. Time flies. It's been what, 5 or 6 years. So appreciate yeah, taking the time to have this conversation.
A lifetime and a couple of kids. We can get into that in a little bit too. But first off, I mean, the big news out of your world now is opening weekend is in the books for the new University Baseball Club out of UBC. How are you feeling about your squad after their performance over the weekend?
Yeah, really, really impressed. We had four very competitive games, and you look at the different aspects. The pitchers were excellent. The defense was quite good as well. Hitting, we just needed a little bit more timely hitting in those clutch situations, and we could have easily walked away either 2-2, 3-1, or there's always the chance that one player takes over a game or two or can take over a weekend. And we were a swing of the bat away in each one of those games from having a little bit better results, but really happy with how the players represented themselves, both, their performance, their effort, but also just carrying themselves the right way. So it was overall great first weekend for our program.
That'd be an interesting spot to be in for your team. You're quote unquote the expansion team. You're not new by any stretch. You've been together for a while. You've already sort of developed a bit of chemistry, camaraderie, all that kind of thing. But you don't necessarily know what you're walking into from a competition perspective. Maybe what did you learn about your team over this first weekend, especially against what I'd call a perennial favorite in PBA?
Yeah, I learned that this is a group that really cares. They care about being in this league. They care about each other and their successes, and they really care about winning. The intensity in the dugout, I was not expecting that. I've coached this, formerly junior varsity team and now the CCBC team for around 4 years now, and the level of intensity and excitement in the dugout after a big strikeout or after a big hit was incredible. And even, the coaches who were in the dugout with me, we kind of looked at each other and said like college baseball is fun. And so the
Mhm.
coaches were enjoying it, players were enjoying it. Yeah, the goal, of course, is to now win, not just like be here. And we're gonna get there. I'm pretty confident we're gonna get there.
I gotta say though, when you pull off a win against a PBA or you're in tight games all the way through, that's got to do a lot for that team's confidence too, right? Because again, you don't necessarily know what you're walking into from a competition perspective until you actually get out there.
Yeah, you can look at it from two different perspectives. Number one, like, oh wow, good job. We had four different people who could have had a walk-off hit on opening night.
Mm.
And the same thing in each one of those games, we were just one hit away. And so sure, you can say, oh, hey, we're right there with the top three team in the league. Or we can, try to hold ourselves even to a higher standard. And again, we're gonna get there. Right. So yes, people are happy to see where we fit in. But there's also some really competitive people, myself included, who want those wins.
Hmm. So how do you get there in your eyes? What's your message to the guys to maybe build upon what the foundation is through week one?
Yeah, so we just have to be a little bit better with base running. We have to be just a little bit better on defense. Pitching was quite good, and if we're even just a little bit better, all of it's going to come together. But the big one is the hitting in those pressure situations. Our batting average, I think, over those first four games is probably below 250. And I'm not sure what it is with runners in scoring position, but those pressure situations in the future when they happen, we're going to still feel the pressure. That's part of it. But hopefully we can manage the stress or the pressure a little bit better and just kind of come up with those clutch hits. We have four or five guys who consistently can hit the ball over the fence in BP. One has shown he can do it in games so far this year. And, we're going to really rely on some of those bats to drive in the runs and, step up in those clutch situations.
Mm. When you entered the season, did you go into it with a mindset about what you wanted the team identity to be, or what you wanted this team to be known for as the season progressed?
Yeah, for me, it's really clear. We need to represent the university in a professional manner and also ourselves and our program. A lot of people look at UBC baseball and they don't really understand the difference between the varsity team and the CCBC team and the three high school teams. They just see UBC baseball. For me, it doesn't matter. I want to represent myself and I want my team to represent themselves in a professional manner. So we're not going to be making comments to the other team. We're not going to talk to umpires. We're going to hustle. We're going to play the game the right way. And that to me is just, yes, the wins are important, but how we carry ourselves is really important. So this identity that we've started to create, it was tough the first couple months. People were getting to know each other. We have a very nice group. Some of them are quite shy, but we have to get rid of that on the field. We need to be a little bit more open, a little bit more intense. And so it's been a lot of fun to see how that's progressed. We've had a number of leadership meetings. We have three really, really strong captains, but also 12 leaders on the team who have certain roles that they're trying to do, whether it's a locker room leader or a performance leader. And everybody is creating the culture that we want. It was not there in September. It was not there in December. But now here we're in March and we are constantly making good steps. People are holding themselves to the high standards and they enjoy being part of that, right? They don't want to be part of a sloppy program where people don't really care how they dress and how they act. So it's yeah, it's a work in progress, and we're pretty happy with where we're at now.
How much fun are you having getting to build something from the ground up? Because I know we'll talk a little bit about, the last 6 years, but I seem to remember coming away from our conversation back in 2020 thinking, A, he's going to be a coach at some point down the road, but B, he's going to try to build something. You just got that sense, and here you are getting to kind of build something from the ground up at least from a CCBC perspective. How cool is that to be able to maybe make your mark early on in a program like this?
Yeah, you know what? It's great that the university supported this. And then after the athletic department, really approved us playing in the CCBC, then you look at who's been at UBC baseball longer, who are, my bosses, my leaders, and that's, Chris Pritchett. He has given me all the freedom to run this how I really believe it needs to be ran, and there's no oversight. He has full faith that I'm going to do it the right way. And it's also the same thing, actually. Mitch Hodge has been at UBC baseball for probably close to a decade, and he was also a big part of this JV team or the CCBC team happening. And he's been the same way, very supportive. There's no micromanaging. He trusts that, myself, but also Lachelle Hirakawa, Sean Schaefer, Eric Hagedorn, and a whole bunch of other coaches. I think we have 9 or 10 coaches. All of these leaders have trusted that we, the people running the CCBC team, are going to do it the right way. And it has been so much fun. It's been a big challenge. It's a lot of work. People don't understand the amount of planning and administrative duties that go into being a coach, but it's enjoyable work. And yeah, I love to go to work and love the position I'm in right now.
That's got to be a cool. You mentioned Pritch, but there's a few others in that room where you can go and lean on some of their expertise in that area as well. Like if there's something that you need to get some clarity on, or maybe it's a just a matter of like talking about different strategies or whatever the case may be, that's got to be pretty handy to have in your back pocket as you've got not just a couple of coaches around you, but you got a whole program with you.
Yeah, we do. And, it's a pretty fun office to work out of, right? You've got a bunch of coaches who are former pro players, and we're not having surface level conversations. Like it's fun to be able to approach Sammy Starr, in my opinion, one of the best infield coaches in this country. And it's fun to approach him with a question about something within infielders. To listen to the hitting conversations that they have or that we all have is also just a lot of fun. It's pretty, I guess, fascinating to just think about again, like the level of conversations that we're having. We're trying to figure out what's the best way to work on the vault steals. What's the best sign for the catcher glove drop on picks? So not these like simple things that we're working through, right? It's like as a player, when I was playing, we never had vault steals, we never had catcher glove drop for picks, right? And so yeah, it's just all part of the fun of being in the baseball world.
And I suppose a lot of it is still being a student of the game. It sounds like you're pretty content on, I'll call it not being the smartest dude in the room. You're happy to have that expertise around you and learn a few things along the way yourself.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, we've got such excellent coaches in that UBC baseball office. And yeah, no, I don't think anybody thinks they know everything, right? I mean, it's been talked about for decades, right? The moment you stop learning in this game is probably when you need to leave this game. And so yeah, we really rely on each other, but we also get pretty creative. We try to come up with different hitting drills to work with our hitters, things that maybe have not been done, right? I think a lot of times coaches, unfortunately, they look at Instagram and find the drill of the day. And so we try to stay away from that. We try to think critically about what we really need to be doing.
hmm How much of your coaching perspective is built off of what you got to see growing up, especially with, the dad that you had, plus, all the people that you had around you, a lot of great people who became coaches, the Ray Browns of the world, the or Francheks of the group. Like there's a lot of guys who went on to pretty prolific baseball coaching careers, and here you are making your own journey in the game as a coach as well.
Yeah, of course, the number one role model was my father, right? And it's interesting. Things that he was telling me as a teenager and telling our team, when we're winning those provincial championships in Barhead, I'm now telling my team. One of them that I used this past weekend was humble in victory, no excuses in defeat. That's such a powerful message, right? And
hmm
that's from my dad. I don't know where he got it from, but that's what I want. Right?
hmm
Baseball is going to humble you. Life is going to humble you. So when you are victorious, there's no reason to rub it in people's faces. So humble in victory, no excuses in defeat is, an important message. But I also think about all the coaches that I've had, and I can't think of one coach who is actually okay with me as a player or any of my teammates talking to the umpires. The
Right.
message was always like, leave the umpires alone. And so that's again something that I will always mandate on the teams that I coach. The umpire is going to make mistakes. He's a human. Leave him alone. He's not the reason for your success. He's not the reason for your failure. That's the so what,
hmm
right? And so I'm very much into philosophy, and this is kind of like Stoic philosophy, right? Is worry about what's in your control, be indifferent about what is out of your control. And so, kind of a long-winded answer of I've had a lot of teachers in my life. Yeah, my father, my coaches, but also, as you mentioned before, I still love learning about life and applying values that I see as important to the players that I coach.
And not only are you able to lean on that, you're also able to lean on your own personal experiences, a couple of years in minor league ball, that kind of thing. Now that you can take that step back and be the mentor, be the coach for these guys, what's that mean to you to be able to give back to the game in this way as a coach after getting to play for as long as you did?
Yeah, I am honored to still have baseball in my life. Um, so selfishly, I'm of course very happy. I enjoy the heck out of my job,
Mhm.
but I see it as my duty to try to teach the right game and teach the game the right way and also help the next generation. And so, yes, part of that is about the baseball skills, but it's also about, the lessons that you learn from being on a team, the lessons you learn from grinding through a long baseball season. And so, yeah, we have a lot of conversations with the team about baseball, but we also have the mental performance conversations and the life lessons conversations about one day you're going to be done playing baseball. And so hopefully you're able to learn a little bit, apply a lot to whatever is coming after baseball. And so that's to me it's really like athlete centered focus. We need to care about the person. And so it's tough. We have a roster of 44 people, but
Mhm.
I try my best to check in with players and really, show them that we are there. But this is where I really lean on the incredible coaching staff that I have, and then also the 12 leaders on the team. Everybody's doing a good job making this, a very worthwhile program, worthwhile experience.
Mhm. And now that you've dipped your toe, I guess, in the season so far, obviously the end goal is to bring home a championship. And so I'm curious, what would it mean to you at some point down the line here to bring a CCBC championship to the new University Baseball Club out of UBC?
Yeah, I would, of course, be thrilled, but I just instantly think about how thrilled the players would be for a number of reasons. There was the preseason poll that came out and they had us at last place. Okay, that lit a fire for some people. But even before that, there's a lot of players who have a chip on their shoulder and they just don't really understand why the respect for the team was not there. And I guess it has to be earned, which is totally fine. But multiple players, even in the fall, had talked to me about how they want so bad not only to make it to the playoffs, but also to bring a championship home and show people like this is not some joke of a program. I mean, we have some very good players. We have multiple players, like I said, who can hit the ball out of UBC with wood bats in tough
Mhm.
conditions. We have, you also can measure it. We have all the fun tech. So we have multiple players over 100-mile-an-hour exit velocity. We have at least two pitchers who are throwing 90 miles or higher. And so like we have some very talented players. And you know what? If we have to earn that respect, okay. But championship would be great, of course. I would enjoy it. But man, some of the players, they want it really, really bad.
Very cool. Final question for you. It's one we ask everybody, although it started after our first conversation way back in 2006. Um, what's a game of baseball mean to you, Devery?
Yeah, that question just sends a little tingle down my spine, right? It just means everything. And I don't remember if I talked about this 5, 6 years ago, but some of my earliest memories were crawling into the cubby hole at our home. We have this storage and there's these boxes with dust on it. And I open it up and I'm seeing pictures of my dad wearing the Team Canada jersey. And I like he's so humble. He never talked about his baseball experiences, right? And so
Mhm.
all these little memories of, you get a little story from my dad here and there about playing in Nicaragua with semi-automatic rifles protecting in the dugout. And then, you know, one day there was this Blue Jays game, and the trivia question was, who's the last Canadian pitcher to beat Team Cuba in international play? And the answer was Keith Van De Keere, and like throwing bullpens in my backyard. And all of these things that I've experienced in my life, so much of it is around baseball. Moving away at 18 years old from a little town of Barhead, Alberta, living in massive city Phoenix, Arizona, coaching 7 years in Europe. I mean, it's incredible where baseball has brought me, and I am so unbelievably thankful to the powers of the universe, however this has happened, because it could have unfolded so differently. I was a walk-on at junior college. They could have just cut me that first year. Then I had a great game my sophomore year, and off of one game, I get a really good scholarship to Louisiana Lafayette. They kept giving me chances. I had a really good junior year. Senior year, not very good. Didn't get my chances. Still get drafted somehow. So, like, I kept getting these chances. I go to Europe. I get hurt in my first month, tear my hamstring. They could have sent me home. Nah, they stuck with me. Okay, a month later, I was healthy playing, had a good first year. But like all these chances, all these things that went my way along this journey, it means the world to me to be still in this game.
It meant the world to us to be able to catch up all these years later. And now you're a proud papa, and you've got a proud papa for a baseball program as well out at UBC with the new University Baseball Club at Devery. Congratulations on the success of bringing that program to life. Continued success this season and beyond. And again, thanks so much for coming back on the show.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Joe. Appreciate your time on this.
When we come back, Baseball Day in Canada. A few thoughts from yours truly here on Alberta Dugout Stories, a podcast.
Canadian Hall of Famer, just a stud.
He is the Mount Rushmore, and it's just an image for where Canadian baseball has come.
He truly believes in this opportunity for the upcoming Canadian.
Loves Canada, super prideful. He just represents Canada really well.
And I can guarantee you, he wished the Memorial Cup was around for when he played.
I think this tournament is going to show guys what they're capable of doing on a big stage and get them ready for what's next in their pursuit of trying to do what Justin did.
The Road to Okotoks, July 14th to 19th. Get your tickets at theroadtookotoks.ca. Welcome back to Alberta Dugout Stories, a podcast. I'm Joe McFarland, and I'll bet you were not expecting that. Yes, we are expanding our sponsorship opportunities with a select few ads. I promise that we're not going to be inundating you with them at all. We actually hope that you welcome them in a way, as that support helps us in big ways. And conversely, I'm a big believer in the thank you economy. And what I mean by that is, if a business or an organization supports us and you happen to like us, then why wouldn't you support that business or organization as well? So we'll be introducing a few of those in the weeks ahead. While we're on that topic, a huge shout out as always to our Platinum supporters, the Okotoks Dogs, Under the Light Sports and Entertainment, and the Western Canadian Baseball League for their generosity in helping us tell the game's stories. For more on our tremendous teammates, as always, head to albertadugoutstories.com/supporters. All right, so we're going to do something else a little different here on the show this week. We'll call it a monologue. We've done this before, but it's an opportunity to maybe dive a little deeper into one of my editorials up on our websites. The last one was about Canada at the World Baseball Classic, so Ian and I chatted about it back on episode 376. Go back and listen to that one if you missed it. Then I wrote another editorial this past week all about Baseball Day in Canada. This is a different idea. And I had the idea to write about it after old friend John Hodgson tweeted about some convos that we'd had in the last few years about trying to grow the game through a nationally televised show. Now, the original idea dates back to 2021 when the Okotoks Dogs faced the Edmonton Prospects in a doubleheader with a full broadcast. It was my first foray into being a desk host for a webcast like that, and I thought it went pretty well. But beyond all of that, it led to a bunch of conversations about the what ifs, as in, what if the Blue Jays got involved? What if Baseball Canada wanted it? Heck, what if Sportsnet wanted to do a broadcast like that? With the Blue Jays bump in full force now and Canada's performance at the WBC, baseball is on a tear in this country. And so why wouldn't we put it on a giant pedestal and show the entire country what's going on with the scene right here, right now? The crazy part is we actually have the roadmap for it already in place with Hockey Day in Canada. So just use those levers to do something similar for baseball. It seems simple enough. Maybe we do it on Canada Day. I did a little extra research before we hit record, and it just so happens that the Blue Jays are at home to the New York Mets on July 1st. The Vancouver Canadians are at home to Eugene. The Winnipeg Goldeyes are at home to Kansas City. And then you can take your pick of a WCBL game. So you could do a back-to-back-to-back-to-back broadcast if you wanted to. And in the future, you could work in the Quebec Capitale at some point as well, although they're on the road this time around for Canada Day. Now, it becomes a jumping off point as well to talk about all the national tournaments that are going to be going on during the summer. You could talk about the road to Okotoks. You could talk about some of the guys in the minor leagues. You could even bring in somebody to talk about the Canadian Future Showcase and the junior national team. You're going to have the Women's Pro Baseball League getting started in August as well. So there's no shortage of storylines that you could talk about. And the best part, just like Hockey Day in Canada, you can go into some of those smaller towns across Canada that are doing some amazing things and showcase them. Get people excited about showing off their programs, about showing off their hometowns. You could even tie in the Jays Care Field of Dreams announcement in some way with this. Now you can get people talking about baseball in the summer and show off the scene from coast to coast to coast, and it's going to be for a national audience. They're showing how far we've come and where we're going in the future as well. It's a no-brainer to me. I know there's logistics involved, there's costs involved, all those kinds of things. If you think big enough about it, you can get sponsors involved so that way you can offset some of those extra costs. It's not like Rogers is hard up for money or anything like that. Clearly, a lot of people actually kind of like this idea or wouldn't mind seeing some iteration of it, given the feedback that we've had on social media and through the readership on the two sites over the last few days here. It's been, frankly, kind of telling, and hopefully it gains a little bit of traction in the days, weeks, or months ahead. I'd hate for this idea to sit on a shelf for another 5 years, to be honest with you. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Drop me a line at joe@albertadugoutstories.com and I'll read your comments on a future episode of the show. That's going to do it for this edition. Again, a big thanks to Sean Bavis and Devery Van De Keere for joining us. If you like this or any other episode, make sure to leave us a rating and review on your app. That'll help spread the word about the show and get into more eardrums. Although I gotta say, and I'm going to break a little news again for you here, we're nearing a second straight record month for downloads on this show. It's been an incredible start to 2026, and it's all because of you. Again, thanks so much for checking this one out and some of the new stuff we've included. And until next time, thank you for all of your support online, on social, and on air of Alberta Dugout Stories.